let's do some inverse trig problems. Suppose I just want to find some inverse trig solutions here, and I want to use a calculator in radian mode to approximate this. First of all, I want to explain what this is. This literally means the angle whose sine is negative 0.74. The angle whose cosine is 1.5, etc. So, if you use our handy-dandy calculator, the angle whose sine is negative 0.74 is negative 0.83. If you try to find the angle whose cosine is 1.5, well, you can't have a cosine of 1.5, so this does not exist. Now, if I want the angle whose sine is 2.36 pi, all right, if I put this in a calculator, I'm going to get 1.13. All right, but if I look at this, 2.36 pi is 2 pi plus 0.36 pi. Now I know sine is periodic, and so that would be the same thing as taking the sine of 0.36 pi. And then taking the sine, the angle whose sine is 0.36 pi. So your answer would be 0.36 pi. You can remember sine and arcsine and inverse sine are inverses of each other. Now, suppose I want the angle, I want to take the tangent of the angle whose tangent is negative 4. Well, these just undo each other. Now, to find the exact value without a calculator, let's think about this. I want the angle whose cosine is root 2 over 2. Oh, that's pi over 4. I want the angle whose tangent is negative root 3. That's negative pi over 3. I want the angle whose, I want to take the cosine of an angle, and then I want to take the angle whose cosine is that. Let's think about this. When I take the cosine, the inverse cosine of the cosine, I'm just going to get the positive argument. Now, let's find the exact value of the cosine of the angle whose sine is minus 1/2. Oh, all right, the first thing you need to do is draw your triangle. I want to draw a triangle so that the sine is minus 1/2. So I know the y value is going to be negative 1 if this is my angle, and the hypotenuse is 2. Well, so the first thing you have to do is draw the triangle and figure out what quadrant you're in. So we're in the 4th quadrant. Next, I need to find my last side. So what is my last side? Well, this is going to be the square root of 2 squared minus negative 1 squared. So it's the square root of 4 minus 1 with the square root of 3. Now, what I really want is to find the cosine of theta. All right, well, the cosine of theta is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Here's my angle. So adjacent is square root of 3. And the hypotenuse is 2. Well, let's try another one. Let's find the sine of the angle whose cosine is 5/13. Well, this is going to be positive. So here's my angle. So the cosine is 5/13, so this is 5/13, and I recognize this as a 5, 12, 13 right triangle. So I have the three sides. Now I want the sine of the angle. So the sine of the angle is opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite is 12, hypotenuse is 13.